Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Dengan yang terhormat Bapak Ibu, tokoh-tokoh Minang, saudaraku seiman. Nama saya Rulita. Saya lahir di Kota Padang dan saya ketika umur 9 tahun pindah ke Australia dan sekolah sampai universities sampai master degrees in architecture. Kedudukan saya di Surau sebagai Surau Sydney is a secretary dan merangkap property. Tahun 2015 saya ikut menjadi pengurus di waktu Surau Sydney memakai rumah orang tua saya sebagai sekretariat. I will now speak in English for the rest of the talk. In my younger years, my parents worked 6 days a week. On the day off, they had no time to take me for Minang socialized gathering. From that moment on, I realized that I do not want anyone else to miss out on the opportunity to learn and love about Minang culture. I'm enthusiastic about purchasing the property for Surau. Our wish is to have a place where we can provide support network for professional Minangs. This Surau will provide a refuge for professional Minangs locally, nationally, and internationally. The place where Muslims leaders can mentors and starting a business, a mentor how to become a leader, harvesting entrepreneurial skills, spirits for the future generations. Surau will provide a place of purpose of socializing with other professions, a place where they can share their skills and expertise by providing tutorials, group discussions, and doing small projects for the Minang community. By doing though, the second generation will maintain the identity, and also the third generation will have a role model to look up. I often envious the other community in Australia, like Lebanese, Greek, Italian, where they have a strong bond of the young professions within their community, and we can do the same. As my background is an architect, I have an upper hand to provide my expertise to assist the best property for Surau in order to find a good property to minimize the risk factors, involve a lot of plannings and research to understand the legislations and regulations of each councils. We started researching for property in 2016. We have learned from other organizations within the community that the risk factors, the reason we are prioritizing industrial property rather than residential is because in the long term, it has many positive impacts financially and spiritually. I wanted to highlight the difference between residential property and also industrial property, the risk factors and the challenges between the two types building. For an example, the residential property, the only positive side is cheaper than industrial property, but there are so many risk factors. The vital risk factors is insufficient parking available within the site and also available parking on the street. In New South Wales legislation, that the number of parking will calculate the number of people can utilize a place of worship. Most of residential property can legally allocate 1 or 2 parking spaces, while the industrial property available parking of 9 to 6 car spaces. Another risk factor is noise pollution. Neighborhood always complain about noise coming out of the building of a place of worship and a place of gathering. There are so many case studies from other places of worship has been lodged to complain to council. The council had to investigate, inspect, and monitor. And eventually the council then will have to enforce to take action to eliminate and to eliminate the source of the noise. Another factor considered amenities is amenities such as washroom, female and toilet, and place for ablution. The calculation of how many amenities To be provided for a place of worship by legislation and regulation, it is by a number of people permitted use for the building.
Okay.
Most residential property of 1 or 2 bathroom means that residential property required to increase the amount of amenities and update sewage and hydraulics. Another aspect we consider before purchasing property is zoning. Zoning is an area of land which permitted or prohibited development of the property. In New South Wales legislation, under the Council Environmental Plan, have outlined the objective of the zone, what type of building permitted and consent, what type of building is prohibited to develop. Every council has provided a guidelines to apply the land of development.
Okay, Tia, can you wrap up?
Yeah, sure. Buying an industrial building will be more beneficial for the community financially. In the long-term, opportunity for employment and establishment for small business within our organization. Small business such as takeaway food, school play area, childcare, and neighborhood groceries. Our Smart Surau, not only for a place of worship, our Smart Surau will be used a range of activity, Islamic lecture, meeting spaces where the future generation will be able to use for small group studies. Our Smart Surau will include sports facility and gym. Smart Surau is not only a multi-purpose space that can change over time and according to community space. So with this conference, I hope our Minang community around the world be able to assist us to make our dream come true, to build a surau for the future generation. However small or big your contribution will mean something to our surau. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tia.